Hello, welcome. Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, probably pretty soon, we're going to have the return of Final Fantasy Tactics. So I wanted to make this video talking about the new units, looking at the old units in the context of the current meta, and then talk about like weapons and craftable stuff and vision cards as well. But before we get into that, earlier today I got a very nice comment from a lapsed user, and I thought it would be a good time here in this video to kind of talk about one of the more important points to understand about this game and sort of gacha games in particular. And then since there might be other like new players or other lapsed players coming back or come into the game for the first time because of Final Fantasy Tactics, I thought now would be a good time to talk about it. But it's very important to understand that this game, War of the Visions, and also a lot of recent gacha games, they are designed in order to accommodate a particular type of player. And then that type of player has the time and energy to play 12 hours a day, every day. And so they put a bunch of stuff in the game so that even if you do play, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, you always have something to do. I think the mistake that a lot of people make is that they see all of this stuff to do in the game and they feel like they have to do all of it or as much as they can. In the comment that I got yesterday, mastery was the word that they used, and I thought that was a good one. Mastery of a game like this is not possible because it's constantly being updated, and so you're always in like an endless chase in order to compete against your previous self, compete against other players, compete against like some kind of ideal, which is just impossible. And so an important thing to maybe decide on or to keep in mind as you're playing is to set limits or guidelines for yourself, like how much you want to achieve, what parts of the game do you really enjoy playing, and like what is worth your time. And so like Arena, for example, just because there is Arena does not mean that you must get to the top 1000 or the top 500 or whatever. You don't have to play Arena at all, actually. You don't have to make +5 of all the weapons. You could go for +2, or you go for +0, or you don't even have to make it at all. I guess really what I'm trying to say is to kind of like manage your own expectations and also your own energy and motivation levels so that you don't burn yourself out, basically. The saddest thing to me is when people like push themselves for reasons that they didn't decide on, that a lot of other people decided on, and they push and then push and they push and then they burn out and then they quit. And that's the saddest thing. Because this is a fun game, but you kind of have to take it on your own terms, not on somebody else's terms. I like to use the phrase, find your own fun in the game. And so if you can find like what is most fun and most rewarding for you in the game, and then kind of strip away the stuff that does not interest you as so much, or like stuff that stresses you out or whatever, then you can have a better experience, you can enjoy the game longer, you won't burn out as much, and I think you can have more fun with it. It's a way of being good at the game that has nothing to do with, having the best builds or the best characters or whatever. It's about managing yourself. Alright, but enough life coach stuff there. Let's talk about the new Hatcher units. Probably people are most interested in that. And they are Agrius, Delita, I need to say his name correctly, Delita, and then Mastado. And Agrius I talked about in a previous video, so I'll just be real brief about her here. She is an ice/attacker. She's also a tank and a breaker and a buffer. And all four of those things, she's way above average, so she's really good, she's really solid. Anybody could use her, I think, if they got her. And let's look at the other UR Hatcher unit. And that is Delita. And he is fire element and he is a / attacker. Main job is Squire, that's similar to Ramza, but a little bit different. Sub-jobs are Soldier and Paladin. And then he is one of the strongest attackers in the game. If you compare him side by side with Orlando, Orlando does have the higher attack value, but if you count Delita's master ability, which is attack 20%, and then you also count another node on his ability board, another attack 20%, Delita actually comes out with the higher attack value. But he is missing some things like defense piercing, defense breaks, slayers, that kind of thing. And those are the things that I really want, current attackers to have. Without them, they're just, they're a strong attack value, and that's it. And that can be blocked by good defenses or high resistances or stuff. So while Delita has the raw stats, he's not as good as an attacker, maybe, as Orlando. And so for that reason, he might really benefit from Orodua's Apron, TMR. That will give him defense piercing along with extra AP. But Delita is interesting because I recently made a video that was like a graph of glass cannons and bruisers. And then actually Delita, he kind of has the versatility to go anywhere on that graph. And then that comes from his sub-jobs and then also some of his support abilities. So if you wanted to go for Glass Cannon with him, you could give him the self-sacrifice support ability from his soldier sub-job. But if you wanted to go for a Bruiser, take off self-sacrifice, give him the Paladin sub-job, and then suddenly he'd become a very beefy character. So in that way, he's kind of versatile. And so him too, I think any player could take advantage of him, regardless of their playstyle. Alright, but anyway, let's go down, let's look at his skills. Alright, so Limit Break. This is an area of effect attack, and then will cause silence. This could be good against mages, of course, maybe especially Ayaka if you want to prevent her from healing. And then a master ability, again, is attack 20%, that's very, very good for him. And then here are the Squire abilities. Let's see, first here, this is a Fire Imperil. This can be one of the keys to getting the most damage out of him. I said before that he does not have defense piercing or defense breaks or that kind of thing. But he does have this, the Fire Imperil. The thing about this, however, is that it's very short range. It is AoE, but it is short range. And then Rain, he also has a Fire Imperil, which is easier to use and has more range and stuff, so... This is one of his better attacks, but it's difficult to use, I would say. Okay, then here is a self buff. This is very interesting. We'll give him attack and magic up, but also reduce the cost of his skills, the AP. So AP is not going to be as much a problem for him as other attackers. And so for that reason, he might need the bells less than other attackers. He also has Faiga's Sword, which I don't know how great that would be, because that is going to be based off of his magic value. And then here, this is a pretty good skill. Medium range, single target, medium damage. But it will also cut down the target's AP, so if you're running around taking away everyone's AP, that's going to be less attacks coming your way, so that's pretty good. And here is Stone Throw, probably want to turn that off. And then here, this is a reduces own HP to heal another character. This is surprisingly helpful. If you've used Delita or kind of similar characters in Brave Exvius, you've seen this work pretty well. And then here is Fudomyo Ken. This is the same as Agrius. Short range, a little bit of area of effect, good damage, and then has a chance to cast Stop. This might be his best attack overall. And then here is a medium range single target attack which would cast Doom. I don't know how often that's going to come in handy. Here is gained AP up, that is a support ability. Move +1, this is one great advantage that Delita has over Orlando, that move +1. And then counter tackle. This is a counter attack, has a chance to move the guy back. Okay, next are soldier skills, and unfortunately Delita does not have Drain Force. That might have made him too powerful. But yeah, without that he's going to have all slash skills, so it might be easy to counter him. But he's got the things that we know, Paralyze Edge, Hazard Form, Hard Slash, Aspal Force, Hazard Break, Hazard Spin, Self-Sacrifice, which might be the best part of having the soldier sub-job, and then a Counter Slash, just a basic counterattack. Hazard Break could be really, really powerful on Delita, but I wonder if most cases you would want to use the Squire sub-job. Maybe a Soldier could be good if you want to join chains, because you can use Hard Slash. That's maybe one of his cheaper AP skills. Okay, and then we have Paladin, which is a very interesting choice for him. He is not a tank, or rather he shouldn't be used as one. If you wanted to compare Agrius and Delita together, you would say that Agrius is a tank that can attack, and then Delita is a tanky attacker. There's a difference there. And so he does have access to the Attract Blade, but I would turn that off. And then I would try to use more of the skills that would raise his defenses, just so that he can take more hits. And then, yeah, I think he could be tanky enough that you wouldn't need to use him with a tank. But if you did put self-sacrifice on him, maybe you would want to use him with a tank at that point. But yeah, he's got Sentinel, and then the Guts ability, or the Courage ability rather. That could be great for increasing his survivability. And then Blade Bash, that could be a nice basic attack. Also gives Stun. Delita, he does have some status effects, not as much as Agrius, but you could certainly maybe get his faith up. And then his magic resistance is pretty low anyway, so you don't want to take him against magic characters, especially not Miranda or Erudita. And then, let's see, he's got this support ability, HP and defense up. That could be another way to make him a bruiser. And then Paladin Guard, that's good against physical attacks. Okay, and then here are resistances. Again, magic is low, so don't take him against magic users. And then let's look at his Trustmaster. This is an armor. Looks like a heavy armor. 400 HP, that's so-so. 10 evade, that's pretty nice. Although not as good as Mithril armor. And then the active ability, he can take away his own AP and then restore the AP of another character. That could be good in a certain situation. But yeah, Delita should be a very strong attacker. Kind of reminds me of Thancred in that he's just like raw stats without any breaks or piercing or whatever. I think it'd be really interesting to use this guy just because of his versatility to go back and forth between Glass Cannon and Bruiser. Okay, next let's look at Mastado. Okay, Mastado, he is a Hatcher MR unit. The free MR unit, that's still Gafgarion. He'll be available again for this event. But he is a Earth Engineer. That's kind of like a gunner type of skill. And then subjobs are Hunter and Thief. And then kind of the big defining characteristics of Mastado here are he has super high accuracy. Maybe the highest accuracy in the game. So he can be really good against evade characters. And then also his Trustmaster has a bonus ability of lowering evade, which is still unique in the game. No other character has that. So if you love going after evade teams, I don't know who wants to do that. Mastado could be a great addition to your party. And then also he's really good at status effects, just like Agrius or Delita. But since he's a gunner, he can do that from distance. And then if you've used a High Faith Federica before, with a gunner, both sub and main job, then you know how interesting and fun it can be to use a status effect centric gunner. I will say though that relying on status effects in PvP is maybe not the best way to use it. It's random, and then also even if you get it off, like the effect, the benefit that you will get from it is also random, so it's better for PvE, I would say. And then as for damage, he's not going to do as much as Federica or Lucia. It'll be comparable to Dairyu, although I think Dairyu might even do more damage. Okay, but real quick, let's go through his abilities. Master ability is accuracy up 30, that's insane. And then improves chances of blind, don't move, and don't act. Those are from his AP skills. But he has a 3-hit skill. This is amazing at range, so he can be a good farmer for you. There are still missions where you need 4 hits in order to get it. So even then, you're still going to want Lucia or Luatha in the future. But I think you could use Mont's Stone Throw in order to continue the Earth projectile chain, so that is a possibility. Leg Aim, that will do the Don't Move. And then this one, this has Petrify on it. That's kind of a crazy status effect to have. Let's see, power shot, that will give blind. Maintenance, this is an AoE buff which will raise debuff resistance, so you can help your teammates there. Arm aim, that will give don't act. Camouflage, that's like hide, that will lower the chance of being targeted. Multi-burst, that's just an area of effect attack there. That's decent damage, middle. And then support ability, this is a range and jump +1. That's pretty good for him. Let's see, projectile attack up. And then a reaction ability is auto potion. That's a nice reference to Final Fantasy Tactics. Okay, and then he's got Hunter. Maybe the big things here are the 100% hit ranged attack. And then a reflex, that reaction ability. I think you definitely want to put that on him at all times. And then Thief, we have the evade self buff, steal, steal vision, let's see, snipe dagger, sneak attack, steal time, the Thief support ability to give move and agility up, and then gain AP up, and then quick reaction, if you're hit, your agility will go up. Okay, resistances look like that, nothing special. And then Trustmaster, it's a gun, again, which has a chance to lower evade. So yeah, Mastado, I would not expect a lot from him damage-wise, but he could be fun for his status effects. And then if you had no other gunner, if you did not have Federica or Lucia or Naidu, I can recommend Mastado. Everybody should have a gunner because they're a super useful job to have. Okay, so at this point, let's kind of look back at the old Hatcher units, which will be available again. Orlando, Ramza, and then Gafgarion, the free MR unit. Orlando I probably don't need to say too much about. Everybody knows how strong he is. If you have him, and you haven't leveled him, like he's Limit Break 3 or even 1 or 0, it's totally worth putting in the effort in order to get him to Limit Break 4 or 5. He is worth the investment. Same thing for Ramza, although it's not as necessary to get him to Limit Break 5. His Trustmaster is not out of this world. But get him to Limit Break 4, level 89, you'll get a super useful character. He will not have the 3-step guaranteed get this time, which was shocking to me when that happened in JP. I was really considering doing that to get him, but he wasn't available the second time, so I skipped him. And then Gafgarion, the free MR, I can recommend 100% of people to get him and max him. He is a good character, and then Dark Slash units, they are very useful. And then Trustmaster is nice too. A lot of people can take advantage of it. And then kind of looking at the UR Hatcher units overall, you got Orlando, Agrius, Delita, and Ramza. Especially aimed at new players that maybe are considering doing a reset marathon to get one or more of those characters. It might be good to know like how technical these characters are. I'm not going to rank them based on who's better than the other because that's impossible to do. But I would say Orlando, he is the least technical character of those 4. He would be the easiest to equip and use. But yeah, basically just give him a big sword and then have him go at it and he'll kill stuff for you. Maybe next tier I would say Delita and Agrius because you have to answer some questions before you use them and equip them. On Agrius' side, do you want to use her as a magic tank, or a combination magic physical tank, or do you want to use her as an attacker? And then for Delita, you have to choose whether you want to go for Glass Cannon with him or Bruiser. So you have a little bit of thinking to do before you use either of those 2 characters. And then Ramza, I would say he's the most technical character of these 4, because he has a lot of versatility and a lot of options open to him. Like, do you want to focus on his slash attacks, or do you also want to focus on his magic attacks? How much do you want to take advantage of his Limit Break, which is 100% hit, so very nice against evade teams? Would you want to use him as a tank, take advantage of his hate generating skill? So yeah, I would say Ramza is the most technical, Orlando is the least technical. But if you did the reset marathon to pull for any 1 or 2 of them, that would be a great start to any account, I would think. But be warned that getting 2 or more units to at least Limit Break 4 within that 2-week period is going to be very tough. So if you do decide to, try to raise up 2 characters at once, 2 or more, blaze through the story, get all that vision ore, and then try to get everybody up to at least Limit Break 4. Okay, next let's move over to my JP account. Let's look at vision cards. So there's the old vision card, which I again do not have. The Belov card, which will raise the agility of your party. I don't know if it's worth pulling for, but if you do have it, get it to at least 2 stars. Everybody likes agility. And then this is the new UR card, and this should be a handout to everybody. I think you do want to get this up to 2 stars. But party ability, accuracy up, and then personal ability, attack up and evade down. And I really like this artwork. This is actually my home screen right now. And then there is the MR card, the red chocobo. And I like this one. Party ability is light attack up, and then personal ability is magic up. So this is great for Ramza. He's light element and he has some magic type attacks. And then also good for basically anybody that uses Holy or Mashuri or people like that. And then, because this is an Esper card, we'll look at the Esper too. Nothing too out of this world here. We'll look at the board here, but some nice stuff. You got projectile resistance, you get slash attack up, dark slayer, dark resistance, and the usual other stuff, evade, accuracy, attack up, and then a bird slayer. The red chocobo also, I don't know if it's worth pulling specifically for it, but you'll probably end up with it anyway, so maybe get the vision card up to 2 stars as well. Okay, next let's talk about equipment. The old equipment, there is the Nagnarok, there it is. And this one's pretty easy to make. It doesn't take a lot of materials to get up. I think you want to make the Assault at least. If you can get to +5, that would be great. And then there's also a magic version. It'll have a higher magic base stat, but the bonus stat will still be slash attack up. So if you're going to use the Nagnarok on a character that doesn't need slash, only magic, like Miranda, you can make the +0 of the magic type of Nagnarok and that would be fine. But if you wanted to put it on a Ramza who wants both slash and magic, maybe you want to make a plus version of the Nagnarok. And then, let's see, I talked about this in the last video, but if you beat the Deep Dungeon, you can get this Lizaria sword. This is great for Agrias or Gilgamesh because it has the high attack and then the ice damage up. But really it's good for anybody that can use a sword. It's kind of similar to Excalibur actually. High attack, decent magic, and lots of accuracy, so everybody should try to get this if they can. And then there is an accessory, there it is, the Sortilege. And this one's great. I have the barrier one here, and then this will give you Spirit 12 and Defense 6, that's pretty high. And then there's the Shield type, which will give you Defense 12 and Spirit 6, also very high. And then the fact that anybody can equip this, this could replace an armor for you. And so I would try to make at least 1 barrier and 1 shield. You might want to even make multiples of them, but that's a lot of materials. And then, if you get the plus versions, you'll get extra evade. You can get more evade, of course, from wearing hats. That's kind of an all-in-one evade item. And then, to be honest, it might be easier to make a Brave Ring +5 in order to get the bonus evade there. So I don't know if you really need to make the plus versions of the Sortileges, but I'll leave that up to you. Okay, I think that will do it for this overview look at the second coming of Final Fantasy Tactics. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.